Welcome to the show. In this episode, we are going to give you our count of the brand new 2015 Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. And there's a lot of new stuff happening this year, and we're going to be talking about that. That is coming up next. Live from the Bob Varley Studio here in Orlando, Florida, this is the Diz Unplugged. This is the Diz Unplugged, episode number 853 for the week of September 22nd, 2015. The Diz Unplugged is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect Disney vacation. Visit them on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Diz Unplugged. I am your host, Dustin West, coming to you live from the Bob Varley Studio, and I am joined here at the table by my very good friends, Mrs. Tess Eccles.
Hello.
We have Mr. Stephen Porter.
Hello.
Kathy Whirling.
Hi, everybody.
Corey Martin.
Still happy to be here.
And back in the nook we have Mr. Craig Williams.
Hi.
He's just a little bit off to the right, but
Just
he's
a little
there.
bit.
Yeah.
It's always a little off center.
He's a little off center.
Thank you.
Well, this minus Rhino, this is the core group of folks that went to the Halloween party last Tuesday, 1 week from yesterday. It doesn't feel like it's been a week.
Today.
That's what did I say?
Yesterday.
1 week from today.
Yes.
And it was all of us plus Rhino, unfortunately, or maybe not unfortunately. Rhino's still up in New England after the New England meet visiting family and friends. But we will give you our account of what we got to see at the 2015 Halloween party. And I thought maybe we should start with talking about what was new this year. And I think the big thing on everybody's mind was the Hocus Pocus Villain Spelltacular Castle Forecourt stage show. And that was brand new this year. Before they had always done, I forget what the villains...
It was like Villains Unleashed or something. Was it
Yeah.
Villains?
Villains Unleashed.
No, that was the Hollywood Studios thing.
Yeah.
It was a bunch of villains it's- dancing around and
Yeah.
swaying and oohing and on.
Yeah. It's like do you remember what it was called, Craig, exactly?
No, filmed it how
Villains
many times,
Tonight?
but I could never. No, Villains Tonight's on the cruise.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Something with villains. That's
Yes.
what it was.
But the big difference between that and this show, which you still get, your villain fix, is the return of the Sanderson sisters.
Yes, this one is good.
And that this one is good. Except there's been some comments about the first opening 2-minute song. People
Really?
didn't really particularly care for that. You know what? Before we get too much into this, if Craig can cue it up, I think before we really go deep into this, Craig did put together a overview video of the entire party, and I think we're ready to take a look at that in just a moment. thank you, Craig, for that overview of the Halloween party at the Magic Kingdom. Near the end there, we got to see a few shots of the Sanderson sisters up on stage with some of the other villains. So what were some of y'all's first impressions of that new Castle stage show? Anybody?
I thought it was awesome. I watched it. Would it have 3 turns around or 2 in the evening? How many
During
times
the night,
do
they
it?
did at least 4.
4?
Yeah.
Okay. I sat through it twice and listened to a third time. I think it's the best one they've ever done for Halloween.
I also did it 3
Yeah.
times, and
Did
that was
you?
because people kept getting in my shot. People were putting
There was one that was a
kids-
child. I saw the child.
Yeah, a dad put his kid on shoulders, and it was like smack dab right in the middle. I was doing the close-up shots on that, and it was like right at the castle door where all the villains like come out, and
There he
that's
sat.
the center stage, giant head of child. So
I would recommend if people can do it, watch the show later because
Yes.
that first show was so packed.
It was,
And,
yeah.
You know, I know a lot of people, as it gets later, the kids start getting cranky and you want to just see everything early on. But if you can wait and see that later on, you're going to have
Yeah.
a better
But wasn't
spot.
it awesome?
It
I
was
mean,
great. It was very high energy. The 3 actresses that played those characters really, in my mind, captured the performance of Kathy Najimy, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Bette Midler.
Yeah, they did.
really did.
They
And they
did.
look like them.
They did.
really did.
To
Yeah.
some extent, Sarah Jessica was a little off. Her face
Yeah.
was a little
The
too
Kathy
round.
Najimy one looked spot on,
Well, from a distance, so did Bette Midler. I
Yeah.
mean, and
but she was a little slimmer than Bette Midler
right
would
there
have
was,
been.
but the voice. They were actually singing, right? Or was it?
Oh yeah, no, they
piped?
were. They
Okay.
had live
What?
mics.
Okay, that's what I thought. I mean, it was spot on.
Yeah, they did a really good job.
I mean, the costumes, the way they dance, everything. I just stood there getting all chilly and cool. It was like pretty cool.
Well, I've got one. Can't make anything just be perfect. I've got one beef with it, and
What?
that is the constant use and bringing back from the old show the Dr. Facilier
Yeah.
part.
it's in every villain show ever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that part, I mean, it was pretty much line for line just ripped from what the old show was, and then goes right into it with the other side. And I get that it's Halloween, but they can't. They keep falling back on it. Come up with something different, something creative with this whole brand new show. Then you just rehash one portion of it. And
His portion was pre-recorded. His dialogue and whatnot was pre-recorded. So it sounds like they tried to like match what had already been created from that past show.
yeah,
Oh, really?
It just kind of killed the pace for me. The show, as weird as the intro was, it was. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still kind of a cool intro before the Sanderson sisters come out, and then once they do, of course, it's off to a bang. And then Dr. Facilier shows up, and then it just goes downhill. But then they try to bring it back up with Oogie Boogie going through to the end, and I Put a
Right.
Spell on You is fantastic. If you haven't watched the video of the finale alone, go on our
That is
YouTube
awesome.
channel and
We
see
also
it.
have the
And-
full video of the
Yes.
full show if you want to spoil yourself before you
The
go
only
there.
thing that I didn't like, and I don't like it on any stage show, is the solid gold backup dancers. I don't like those added nondescript people. I don't.
But
like,
it fills in the
I
energy.
know, but I don't like that. I don't know. It distracts me.
I liked how they started the show though, because then it get like some people I saw comments that didn't like that, but I liked them because it built the like everyone knows Sanderson sisters are coming, and so I think having them come out or pulling back and like having them come out later built anticipation because
Yeah.
everyone's like waiting, like, oh, here they come,
because you could hear the crowd, kind of freak when they
Yeah.
got
The
up there.
crowd, like,
Yeah, it
Being
was.
the crotchety old lady, we happened to be standing in a spot that I think, 3,000 people behind us knew every word, every.
You didn't like
move.
that?
No, I
Okay,
didn't.
because I was
didn't
standing right
come-
behind you singing. Is that what you did? Are you talking about me? Because literally, Max and I were right behind you, just singing along.
For the first one?
Yes.
Okay, you're not in the picture for the first one, but
Everybody but you.
yeah. I was trying to hear the show, and I get that everybody likes it. I mean, I guess I obviously should have. I mean, I did come back and see it the
Wait,
second
have
or
you
third-
seen the movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I just want to make
have.
sure you've seen the movie.
But it's like, I didn't come to hear all these people. I
Kathy,
get that.
I was surprised by how many people like knew that movie and were
Yes.
there and like were big fans
Yeah.
of that movie
Why would
and
that
of the
surprise you?
Well, I just didn't know that it was going to have that big of a turnout of actual fans of the movie.
Yeah.
I get what Kathy's saying, though. There's two type of people that go to concerts. The idiots that want to sing along with every song
Thank
after they
you.
get drunk.
Thank you.
And I will admit, after a couple drinks, that is me. I will be belting at the top of my lungs, and that's how it is. And then there's the people who they'd rather hear the performance itself. And so I get what she means.
I think what we had that night was a lot of excitement. It was the very first night of the event, of the Halloween party. It was also the very first performance. And to my knowledge, I don't know that they did a cast preview or not of that show. They may have, but it did seem like a lot of people were at least in that age range of like cast members and stuff like that. There seemed to be a lot of local turnout because one of the things we need to talk about, at least for our night there, was how this was probably the busiest I've ever seen the Halloween party.
Yeah, and I will say I was there working. If I was there, I was trying to get the details. I was trying to hear what was going on. And with everybody behind me, it's like, now, is that them doing it, or is it all the people behind me? Now, if I had gone on my own time and I liked that movie and I was singing along, that would have been something different.
I apologize for my singing.
But it was, we talk about the crowd. This party goes on select nights from September 15th all the way to November 1st. I'm shocked that many people wanted to go on the first night.
I think it was locals.
And I honestly do think there was a hype to that Newcastle stage show, the Villain Spelltacular. I think that there was a lot of hype. But then again, after the first show, the crowd stuck around. I guess they paid for their ticket. They were going to get their money's worth. One of the things that I don't know will factor into future dates for the party moving forward this year was some of the construction that they're doing around the hub and up near the castle stage. There were two gigantic walls protruding that really cut into a lot of the viewing space that would have been kind of standing room right in front of the castle stage, and it made it very, very crowded up there, and it made it where you couldn't really get a good spot.
Right.
You talking about in the hub area? Because I thought the hub area, the new one, held the crowd better.
If you're looking at the castle, if you're right up on the castle and you look left or right to those ramps,
I know what you're talking about.
They had walls up.
Yeah.
And that killed some of the standing space that was up there, which made it hard for us to find a decent spot until like the very last show of the night. Then we got a good shot of it. So
I think a huge problem with the crowds is that, the rides, you can get on rides real easy. If your kid really likes just going on the rides and doesn't care about the Halloween party and you're willing to pay for just those select few hours to go on rides, I saw waits for Buzz were 5 minutes and waits for, I'm sure 7 doors. I didn't see the wait time for that. Maybe it's a little bit more, but if you're just focusing on, all right, let's just get as many rides done and that's all you care about, this is a great event. But at the same time, I think the problem with that is because no one was really enticed to get on the rides. I wrote about this actually in an article that I did this week. Is because no one's enticed to get on the rides, the rest of the park is just swamped with people because usually those lines are what eat up everyone that's there. So
and the candy lines were very long.
I have never seen them like that.
I haven't either.
I did not wait in any of the lines. I just finally said, "Screw it! I'll just go to Publix."
And it's probably
and buy
because
some candy.
you're either waiting in line for candy or you're trying to get a good spot for the show or the parade,
characters.
and so you're not on
The lines were unbelievable.
Yeah.
Last year was a sold-out one, but it was September 1st or something?
It was earlier, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think when it's that crowded, I don't think you have the same, feeling in the park as you do on some of the other nights. Now, Halloween night is sold out.
Yeah.
So far, there are no other nights that are sold out.
Right,
So,
and I think there will be that lull in between now and Halloween. It's kind of, it drops down and then it comes back up the closer you get to Halloween. Let's talk about some of the other stuff that is new for this year. Can we talk a little bit about some of the unique snacks and merchandise that they had? What did you guys see while you were there?
Teresa had the weird ice cream cone.
Yeah, the
Candy corn.
there it is, candy corn cone thingy.
And it tasted like candy corn?
It had an odd taste to me. Max and I both tried it, and he thought it had a little bit of orange in it, but I couldn't taste it. It just had a weird chemical off taste to me.
Well, that's what candy corn tastes like when you really
I know,
get down
but
to it.
I don't know. And the bottom of the cone, which I never got to because I threw it away, had candy corn in it, but I never got down that far. We just kind of lobbed the top off and ate it and trashed it.
Well, that's not great.
No, I couldn't get through the whole thing.
So was there a line for that? To get
There was.
Yes.
There was. We waited there for
Yes.
quite a while.
So if there is a big long line, would you recommend maybe skipping that?
I would skip that. That's only back in the, what is the treat area back in Fantasyland?
I know. Yeah. The
Back there.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No.
yeah.
No, not Friar's
No.
Neck.
New Fantasyland?
No. What is it? It's over by where Pooh used to be. It just went out of my mind.
I know. Near Tomorrowland. Near
Storybook treats.
Storybook
Yes,
treats.
yes,
Yes. So, but there was a line. There was a good.
yes.
I mean, we stood there and waited for it. And I'm thinking this better be worth it.
Yeah, good.
And
solid.
everybody was getting it, and they were all excited when they walked away. I didn't meet up with them later to see the disappointment on their faces, but
And then I know they also had like special cupcakes at the
Yeah.
bakery and
Overpriced cupcakes.
overpriced cup. They were pretty. They were very
Yeah.
pretty, but not
And some
worth
of
it
the
to
caramel apples, they had different
They were
ones.
pretty,
but
yeah.
that would be an awful lot to eat. You'd have to split that up with people, and
Now, sorry, go
I
ahead.
like the fact that they have special treats because I think that makes it special. If you can only, obviously, if you can only get it then.
If you can wait in line and
If
you
you
can
can
pay
wait
the
in line.
outrageous amount of
And I
money.
like the idea of this ice creamy thing, but it was pretty, but it wasn't. It was like $4 and something for one
$4.19.
cone. $4.19. Okay, $4.19 for one cone. And a bottle of water to wash it away. So.
In terms of some of the merchandise, I know that you are sporting one of those things, which
Yes, I
may
got
or
the
may
little
not
shirt.
be coming back at all, right?
I don't know. When I got there, well, I hadn't looked at the merchandise yet, and we met up with Max, and he pulled it out of the bag, and I'm going, okay, I have to have that shirt.
We should specify what the shirt is.
The shirt is from the stage show, right? I don't know if they can see it.
Yeah.
Just take it off. Show us.
Let's just take it off. Look, this is why I wanted it right here.
It's got the Sanderson sisters
It's a
on
weird
it.
is nice.
plastic, so I don't like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
That'll
no.
be
It
weird
looks like
when-
a heavy print.
when you
I don't like
wash it.
that. It's like the,
Does it glow in the dark?
I don't know.
You have to test it.
I haven't tested
Go,
that
go
yet.
sit in Stella's darkened room.
Stella's darkened room. But no, I don't like the texture of the print. It's real heavy and like
Yeah.
the T-shirt placed at the mall in the 70s, where they're putting.
Yeah.
You remember those?
yeah.
They tend to do that with their special event T-shirts.
But it was, I think, 27. I mean, it's a little higher price.
and they
than I
sold
thought.
out that night.
When I got one of the last three, and they were all in the larger sizes, and that was about 11.
Does anybody know if they have any plans on bringing that back for future parties, or was
It's
that
not
a one-night
featured on
deal?
the map, so I don't know.
No, yeah, they said that there was around 300 some made for
Of
the
this one?
event. Yes, of that one.
But not per night.
Yeah, not per night, just for the first night. And
I think that's ridiculous.
That's
Oh my gosh! So I can put this on eBay.
Yeah.
Totally
Sure.
can put
Yeah.
that on eBay, and a 3X gentleman or woman will
Snap it up.
snatch it right up.
But
Well, all right.
Previously enjoyed.
Previously enjoyed twice.
but at the same time, if it is that cheaply made, not to call it cheaply made, but kind of looks like it at
Thank
the
you.
other side, you're welcome.
No, the fabric is okay. I don't mind the T-shirt material. It's good and thick. But
Yeah, but
just
the
this
actual
little-
print itself,
Yeah.
they can probably print those pretty quickly and
it's like
get a whole
flame
bunch
retardant
out and
crap
ready
or
to go.
something, I don't know.
Corey, what else did you have pulled up there? It looks like some special merchandise.
They also,
There's the special magic band that you can get, and there's also, as always, there's a special edition pin and then event T-shirts. Those are the
and the T-shirts, I don't know if they sold out of all the short sleeve ones, but when I went through the store, all they had was long sleeve
because
T-shirts.
that's what you want.
And it's like
A
how many
long sleeve shirt
Yeah,
in Florida.
it's like what it was, 80 something or 90 something when we were there. It's like really long sleeve. Where's your short
I
sleeve?
guess the
ones?
hope would be you're coming from a colder climate, and then next Halloween you could wear it
Somewhere else.
yeah.
Kathy got a hat.
Oh,
Was
yeah.
was that for just the party, or was that there all the time?
I think that's there all the
I
time.
think she just wanted to wear a sporty
Did you
hat.
see it?
I did, but you have to remind me exactly what it was.
It
Jack
was
Skellington on top
Jack,
of
right.
like with a pumpkin dress,
Yeah.
and his little legs were hanging around her
Yeah.
face with little feet.
And I have him sitting on my desk now, but there's Velcro on it. You can pose his legs.
And I
too.
always get the Haunted Mansion ears. I always get a different set of something when I'm there, so I got those and the special card for the sorcerers.
Yeah, they had the Sorcerer's card. It's Minnie Mouse's Costume Chaos. And
Did you get to use it at all?
I don't play, so I just got it because I thought it would be fun to have for the show.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got mine too.
Yeah,
Went in my little
so-
collection.
That's free with the party as long as you. I don't know. Did you feel like they were going to sell out during the night?
They had, when you went up, they marked your wristband.
Yeah.
So they X'd out your wristband so that
Gave you the
people.
mark.
Oh, I got an S. Did you get an S?
I got an X. I don't know.
I got an S.
I think
I don't know what it
looking for
was.
any mark on it. That
They were just
probably just
marking you.
means that they
Okay.
have enough for one per person.
Yeah.
Right.
And they probably won't sell because those are so much easier to make than like the T-shirt.
But you know what? With this year, last couple of years I've gotten the card, it was harder to get it. I mean, it was like more of a process to get it, to get up to the counter and
Well, it's at the fire station, right?
fire station or back behind the Christmas store,
That's
right?
the
Yeah.
better one.
Yeah, that's the better one.
definitely.
This year I walked up and I just showed my band and she had a pocket full of them and she was just passing them out like candy.
Yeah, usually they'd make you go through getting the card to play the game and all
Right,
that.
yeah.
And this time they're like,
They didn't care.
Yeah.
They didn't care if you're going to play the game or not. Just take the card and move away.
Yeah. I think some people don't even play. Some people just collect.
No.
Yeah.
Collect or sell, you know.
It's what I tend to do with Infinity. It's not like I'm playing Infinity like
Right.
nonstop, but I have all the characters.
You are.
oh yeah.
So speaking of handing them out like candy, let's talk about the candy stops.
We already
More
mentioned that the lines were really long. There were 14 total candy locations, and pretty much your best bet with no line is that shortcut between Storybook Circus,
Yeah.
cutting over to Tomorrowland. That's always been the hidden gem, but every one that I saw the lines were
Yeah.
crazy.
Because back in that little walkway, they typically have like 2 or 3 throughout that whole
Yeah.
walkway between Space Mountain and Barnstormer.
But good candy, the selection I thought was great. I like candy, like Sour Patch Kids and all that stuff.
Any highlights?
No,
chocolate.
honey, you don't like good candy. You don't eat chocolate.
He only likes
I don't-
fruity candy.
I like-
See,
yeah.
we should go
Maybe Skittles,
go
Sour
together
Patch
and then
Kids.
split it up.
Right.
You get all the
I
nasty
get your
stuff,
Airheads,
and
I'll give you my
Butterfinger.
my Snickers.
Any
That's right.
highlights in terms of chocolate?
Butterfingers.
Ooh.
I like Butterfinger. They were the tiny itty bitty ones, but that's okay.
I didn't lay my fingers on your Butterfinger.
You didn't? Oh no. And I got all the Maxes and Ravens, but no,
and they were
I
giving Dove little pieces of chocolate when you left the party.
Ooh,
I
fancy stuff on the
Well,
way.
The
I got
little-
like 8 or 9 pieces of that.
yeah, and it's all
stuff
the
you
milk
keep in the-
chocolate. It is. It's the stuff we have at the Welcome Center. I'm like, no, I'll pass.
You're trying to get rid of that
I'm
stuff.
burnt out on that.
And they do, if you have allergies or you need sugar free, if you just go to guest services, they'll give you whatever you need. They have like a little card and you say what you have and they go in the back room and bring you out some candy. So
Bring out some
everybody
cardboard.
It's a little less ta-da, to that. So can you go out and
But
go
why?
to the back and give me
why
the fake
were
candy?
the? I know it was a sold out party. I've been to sold out parties before, but this year the lines just seemed
Yeah, they were.
unbelievable.
I think it goes to what Steve is talking about. People were not riding rides.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, when you buy a not so scary Halloween party ticket, which for the 7 of us ended up being $500. So whatever the math is on that.
Yeah.
Right.
You want to get the most out of the event itself. One of the complaints we had about the Villain Soiree last year was you spent your entire time, you spent $100 on that, you spent your whole night doing that, and yet you still had to pay $60 or $70 for this ticket
Right.
that went completely to waste. So when you already are on vacation or you're already an annual pass, when you go to that Halloween party, in my mind, the last thing I really want to do is go get on a ride. I want to enjoy what's
The special events.
special
Yeah.
event stuff. Some people do it the other way or do
Now-
half and half, but apparently that night nobody was.
They
riding
also
Right.
knocked off one of the dance parties. So They
Yes.
still
Yeah.
have the one in Tomorrowland, but the one in Frontierland was great because it was air conditioned. It was
Yep.
inside
Was it
the
the
Diamond
Golden
Horseshoe.
Horseshoe?
Yeah,
That's the one I like.
I heard something about that. It was someone I read in a comment said that they're doing construction on the inside.
Yes.
But I don't understand. So then just move it somewhere else.
Yes.
Like,
have it inside.
Do it in Country Bears.
Somewhere air conditioned.
For the
Dance with the
24
country
hours, they had the DJ up above the crowd, and people were just out in the area. They could have done it that way.
In
It did-
Frontierland?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've done that before.
Yeah.
Well, they've had it in Cosmic Rays in the
Exactly.
past
Yeah.
too. Where they clear out those tables,
That
and
was
it's
awesome.
great.
So
Yeah.
the only one this year was in the Tomorrowland stage.
Yep.
and it
That's
was
unfortunate.
Monsters Inc. people,
Yep.
right?
And just based on the video, I don't know what time of night you went, but based on the video, it looked like there weren't that many people participating.
There were people participating. However, I would say there was also more people just standing there watching everything happening.
It was so hot.
It was pretty pathetic.
Now,
It was-
at Christmas time, not only they do the dance party there, but they do like the Buzz and Zurg stage show on
Right.
that stage. Is there any stage show for the Halloween party?
No.
No.
Back there? So that's also
I love that
unfortunate.
stage show at Christmas. That's always
Yeah,
fun.
it is fun.
Looking forward to that. But back to the candy. Mm-hmm. Okay. And you were talking about the rides.
Mm-hmm.
And you would like to do the special things and
Right.
skip the rides. If I'm going as for work, I would just do all the special things. But when I go back with Stella, it'll be all about the rides.
Mm-hmm.
She'll like the stage show, but when we usually go as a family, we don't do the rides because it's usually crowded
Right.
and we're not going to wait in line. But the special parties gives us that opportunity
So
to just
what
walk right on.
You would do is hit the Halloween highlights that you know you want to see, but then take the rest of that time because it was open until what, 1 or 2 o'clock.
The last show was at midnight.
Yeah.
I'd start with the rides.
Oh, so it was midnight.
I
I'd
would
start with
too.
the rides because everybody else is all, ooh, party, party, Halloween,
Right.
Halloween, looky, looky, candy, candy. We would do the rides first and then space all the other stuff out and finish our night.
Like I said earlier, I mean, if you can do all the, like, if catch the second parade, catch like one of the last shows of Hocus Pocus, and the Hallowishes is at 10 p.m. So
Mm-hmm.
if you can go knock out the candy locations, do your rides, and then, the second parade is usually, less people.
Yeah.
And don't do it at the same location. The first parade I was up towards Casey's enjoying it. By the time the second one came along, I was sitting on the porch at Tony's and just chilling. But I
chilling.
could see everything when it came around
That's
that
a
curve.
good spot down in Town Square. What's that, Craig?
I was also going to say, in terms of maximizing your time, if you're staying for like a week and there's multiple parties happening, if you were going to skip something to make more time for something else, Hallowishes and any other perimeter fireworks show is best viewed at the Polynesian.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's great inside the parks, but it's just plain better watching it at the Polynesian because you can see everything unfolding, whereas you're in the park. You're constantly looking around.
Right.
It's nice to get the wide view. So,
Do they play the music on the beach there?
Yep, they still play the music on the beach, so you can get a better experience from further back on a different night than if you're in the park. I mean, it's some people have to watch them in the park, but Polynesian's better.
That'd give you like probably a good hour to go do some other rides or other experiences, instead of standing around waiting for that perfect spot for the fireworks.
I watched the fireworks from outside the gate, sitting on those benches, like before you go to the monorail and stuff. I think that's a good place to watch them too.
And keep in mind, too, that you can, even though the party starts at 7, they will let you in with your party ticket after 4.
Right.
So you can have a couple of hours to do things. But then when it starts to get to be around 7 o'clock, make sure you've gotten your wristband because cast members will stop you at various locations.
And that's just keep your ticket on you. You might have to go back to the front of the park to get
Right.
your wristband, but as long as you have that ticket with your name on it, you'll be fine.
I think there was locations where they were giving out the wristbands
Yeah,
if you were
there
in
were.
the
Yeah.
so like
Well, that's good.
in Tomorrowland by Buzz's old Fast Pass area, they were giving them out, and I'm sure there was something on the other side of the park.
I think
didn't
there
see.
was. But isn't it fun to watch sweep the people
Yes.
out?
They
Yes.
set up. They did a good job this year. They set
Yes.
up these ropes, which is almost like cattle drive, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
they're
Feeding them through.
feeding them through, and they bring them to one little point, and the cast members checking wristbands. No, you go this way. Yes, you go this way.
Yeah.
Or yes, you can go anywhere you want. I wanted to point out what you said, Kathy. We've talked about this in the past whenever we bring up these parties. For a family or somebody who's traveling that's trying to maximize the money they're spending on their multi-day tickets or determining how many days worth of tickets they want to buy, this is one of those options where you could not buy a ticket
Right.
for that day, save yourself that $100 in quotes
Right.
for a one-day pass. I know it changes when you have multi-day passes, but then you're buying a less expensive ticket. You can go in at 4 p.m.
Right.
and you can get a full day's
Use that
worth.
day to hang out at the resort,
Yeah.
go swimming, and then come to the party that night. And, we always tried to do it to ride those rides that maybe you couldn't ride during regular park hours, hit those special ones during the party. So then at least you can say you rode those.
Did anybody see Seven Dwarfs Mine Train? Because that's new this year, and that's
Jenny Lynn was there that night, and I know she rode it. They had to wait a short time, but not the normal. Not the normal.
That's
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That would be like the number one thing I would want to do because
Yeah.
Oh,
the
definitely.
fast passes are hard to get for that.
From the looks of it, every attraction is open.
Yeah.
Carousel Progress.
Well,
Because that's a trick-or-treat location.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
yeah,
use
that's
that.
right.
It's sad. That's the one I wanted to do.
They could use the staffing somewhere else. They don't need to have them running Carousel of Progress.
No, I was thinking of another event, but sometimes during the night, something might, like if you're hungry, eat at the beginning because by the end of the party, there's really no food locations.
Right.
Yeah.
I had a
Open.
snack over at Cosmic Rays, and down there where in past years, like you said, Corey, I think there had been a dance party in there, right? Down there in the pit where
The Pit of Despair.
I love that place.
Yeah, because Stitch would be dressed as Elvis.
Right?
Yeah.
So Sonny's down there singing, and there's hardly anybody down there. And actually, it's quieter than out in the party.
Yeah.
So if you need a quiet spot, that's where I was hiding out when Kathy found me.
Before we get on to like the parade and the fireworks, I want to finish up talking about what's new, and that brings me to actually one of the articles that you wrote, and maybe we can just touch on that. I'll put it in the show notes.
Okay.
But talking about the different costumes that were there this year. I had purchased the tickets for the whole team, and I had the privilege of standing at the park entrance for a good hour as everybody was filtering in, and I got to really see the trends of who's repeating costumes and what's big this year versus last year. What did you find when you were taking a look?
By far, Inside Out was like the costume to have. It was like there was I saw a picture on Facebook, and it was two groups of friends. They had so many people, so they did the emotions twice because everyone just wanted to be Inside Out characters.
My favorite observation on that was you would have a group of 5 friends, or maybe it would be 4, and then they would just pick which emotions they wanted to be. My thought was always, I can understand all of the emotions. How did you either get your friend to decide, or did she or he volunteer to be sadness? That's what I want to know. How did we get to that point? Who volunteered for that
There were
role?
so many good costumes, though.
Yeah.
My favorite was the Tangled one that we saw. Did you see her?
Did she have really, really long hair?
No, it was like she was the tower.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, did you see
Yeah.
her? She was the tower, and she had this flipped over Easter basket as the top of the tower, and it was painted the same color as everything, and she had little yellow hair yarn coming out and going. I mean, it was all the way down to her feet. She was the tower.
That's original.
Some of these
Yes.
costumes are so good where you kind of have to do a double take. There was a bell, and her dress was so incredible.
Yeah.
It lit up, and I was like, okay, is she really? No,
She a Disney
She's
character?
actually in the overview video. If you
Is she?
if you
Oh,
look
yeah.
closely, yeah.
And then there's the sad little Spider-Man man that came out of his mother's basement in his jammies. He made an effort.
I like the one that they were wearing the picture frames.
That was weird.
That-
It was like they all had picture frames. It looked like they were floating in front of their face, and their head was the picture. It was weird. I don't know how they did that.
I have a character gripe, or a costume gripe. I know you probably just went to Universal the other day and you decided to go
okay.
to Mickey's Halloween party. That doesn't mean that your whole family is going to be minions for Halloween.
Why were they there?
How dare you bring that into a Disney theme park?
Yeah, I
we
saw a lot of
mentioned that,
minions.
yeah.
There was
A
a
lot of
couple of
minions.
Universal characters that were there that I thought shouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
But my favorite always goes back to the families dressed alike, like
Yeah.
the Dalmatians or whatever. I just think that's sweet. Or the when I see Incredibles, I just think
Yeah, that
I
was a
always
big
like.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I always
That was
love.
in my article. It was the Incredibles. There was just
Yeah.
so many. I think, and there was a lot of mom and dads that would just be Mr. Mrs. and Mr. Incredible, and then sometimes it was like the whole gang.
I'm not
Right.
wearing tights. I'll get around it.
Okay, cool. So let's go in and let's talk about 2 of the things that haven't changed too much and just get your guys' impressions on it. Let's start with the Mickey's Boo to You parade. Who saw it? Everybody?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. What'd you think?
I love it. I love it every time. I mean, the grave diggers, the spooky dead people in pretty dresses. You know, haunted mansion.
We can safely say for the people that are listening who have been to the Halloween party over the last 3 or 4 years, pretty much the same parade.
Yeah, the music though, I look forward to the music every year. I do like the little. It's in my head for days afterwards.
Oh yeah.
I wish they would have incorporated like Fear from Inside Out
Oh yeah.
in the parade, just to
Okay.
kind of be scared of like the villains or something.
Right.
Put them next to Pain and Panic.
There was one sad part that was missing. That's one of my favorite parts of it, and that's the guy from Haunted Mansion with his dog.
Oh,
that
I
was
didn't even think of
completely
that.
gone
He
this year.
wasn't there.
Yeah.
I wonder if the dog caused problems last year because
dog might have
that was
died.
new either last year or the year before.
It's
right?
no, it's been a staple for a lot of years. I mean,
He's gone now.
It's
Maybe
for
they
all we know,
died.
the dog was backstage just biting people left and right, getting in a fight with Pluto.
Probably messed with the
Maybe.
headless horseman's horse or
They might have
something.
both died of emaciation.
Which I look forward
Old
to.
Yeller.
The headless horseman.
Yeah.
I
That
thought you meant somebody dying of emaciation.
I always look forward to
And
that.
I would say if you're going to take pictures of the headless horseman, stand in a spot that has light because
Yeah.
I usually am back by Sleepy Hollow about that time, and that's really hard
That's
to get a
pitch black
picture.
back there.
But when we were down by Tony's, I got a number.
It was a good.
Also, if you have a long lens, like on Main Street, for example, if you're able to be down at the bottom of Main Street, like near the town square, you can see him coming from a long
Right,
way.
right.
So you have more of an opportunity to take a
Right.
photo. And that's where I was in the video. And that helped because if you're standing in like one of those corners, either near the hub or around that corner between Frontierland and Liberty Square, I mean, he just flashes right by you.
Yeah.
And there's not
Okay,
much you can do.
the dialogue before he shows up, I love that.
The
And that
headless horseman.
I know,
Yeah.
and that makes me think something. Let me go back to the stage show really quick. Was that Binks the cat talking at the end of the stage show?
There were some people who
Supposed to
said
be
it
like the
online,
little-
but I never went back to listen. Actually,
Okay.
Who was that voice actor? It was like some child star.
It's
No, it was
Jason
like-
Marsden.
yeah.
Okay, because it sounded like from the movie, and because we were having a discussion about it. I said I'm pretty sure that's what it was supposed to be, but I wasn't sure.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he's still big into Disney. He was at the D23. He showed up as to be a part of the Goofy movie
Okay.
presentation because he was the voice of Max in that,
Right.
and then of course he was Thackeray Binks, and he was on all the TGIF shows back in the day. So
What took these
Yeah.
so long?
So the headless horseman still trots. He doesn't run.
That's good.
We got rid of the dog and the gravedigger, but we have Oogie Boogie, who was just in the mix of one of those portions where it's just a bunch of characters dancing. Well, Oogie
Oogie
Boogie's in it.
Boogie creeps me out. I don't like him.
Hey, Oogie Boogie.
Yeah.
And I wish they would have fixed last year Vanellope Von Sweet just walking, and then Wreck-It Ralph being in the car, and then yet again this year she's still just
by
dancing
herself.
by herself.
Give her a
Also,
candy
sad.
car.
She needs to have a candy car.
Get those candy dancers from Festival of Fantasy. Put them in.
Candy
yeah, yeah.
dancers.
They are the candy dancers. Okay, so any other thoughts on the parade?
Can I just be the bad guy?
Sure.
I didn't love it. Because I think my standard for parade now is Festival of Fantasy.
Yeah.
And it's hard to live up to that.
You
This
can't
is your
come
first.
back.
This is your first.
This is the first time I've
Really?
seen a special
Okay.
parade. I've never seen. Well, when I was 5, I'm sure I saw the Very Merry Christmas parade, but I don't remember it. So this is really my first parade that isn't the main parade. And I was like, compared to Festival of Fantasy, I was like, it's not as good as that.
Well, it says a lot because
Don't let him come back.
Festival,
I like that.
Festival of Fantasy was made within the last year or two, and this has been just kind of tinkered with over the. If you want something like that, they're going to have to completely reimagine this thing, and I hope that they do at some point.
I keep saying that about the Christmas party too. It's like, this is Disney. This is an entertainment company. I get that some people like the same thing year after year after year, but they're Disney. They can add things, and how hard would it be?
Yeah.
But it's like they don't really care to.
I don't know. I like him.
Thanks for
both.
being the bad guy.
Yeah, I'll take that.
I'm on Team Teresa with this one. In terms of traditions and stuff, parades are traditions. It would be like with the Macy's Day Parade, if all of a sudden they decided to not end with Santa Claus.
Right?
And,
Yeah.
And
Or take
with,
Snoopy out or something.
Yeah.
What's the deal? Why are we even
Simpson running
here?
into a
Why did I
building.
even go to the party?
Well, I just
Right.
didn't. There's a couple things I didn't understand, like the
Ask us.
harvest, the Halloween harvest. Like I get it's autumn, but I feel like it should be more about like.
You're talking the part with like the clucky
Yeah.
chicken
Yeah.
lady.
Oh,
and-
no. They cannot take her out. Back me up on this
Oh,
one.
really? Really? You're gonna defend that?
Yes. I look forward to that.
Okay, then.
It all doesn't have to be shiny and death. It can be clucky chicken.
I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want them to take her out of this parade as it is, but if they created a brand new parade, I would not be sad to see the Clarissa Cluck or whatever her name is. Just
oh no, I look forward to her
way of the dodo.
vocalizations. I look forward to it all. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, before I used to love the Gravediggers and all that, but I'm kind of on the fence now that I like the fall part the best because that's the season I probably miss the most from being at home.
There you go.
Changing and all that.
I miss the season.
This is like a therapy session.
And in talking about that, the decorations were slightly different this year, were they not?
talk about it.
Okay, when I came into parking, wasn't there in the past giant, huge pumpkins above the little take my ticket kind
Those
of?
weren't there
Over the
Sure, I
kiosks?
noticed.
Yes,
Okay.
they
I
weren't
know
there.
last year they did the snowmen, or the snowman Mickey or whatever
Yeah.
on top, but
There was nothing up there, just some little fall leaves.
that could either be like they don't feel like doing it, or potentially, I doubt it, could have something to do with all the construction they're doing on the speedway and the stuff they're doing, changing parking up.
I don't
Who
know. It
knows?
needs to be there. That
I mean, it is
threw
just
me off.
it is just an
That's-
inflatable.
And
thing.
know.
last year, didn't we get candy when we went through the toll plaza? I did.
Well, you're special, I guess.
Did you ask for it and someone
No,
dug in
they
their
just
handbag
gave-
and gave you something?
No,
They
they
gave you-
gave
Do you have
It's
any
like the
gum?
leftovers from the previous year.
Maybe
Give you a
it
cookie
was,
with
I
a
don't
razor
know.
blade
I
in
need
it.
a piece of gum. I don't remember that, Kathy.
Yeah.
I was just so taken aback that the giant pumpkins weren't there. It kind of threw me off.
Craig, you had noticed that there might have been different decorations along Main Street. Was that a thing? Just like a few subtle things, or was it pretty much? the
Yeah,
same?
I think they did change that up a little bit. Like there were a lot more effects in the windows.
Yeah, I was going to
There
say
was
in
more
like the buildings and
Projections
stuff.
and
Yeah.
stuff. In this area, Disneyland whoops ass with us because
Oh, they do the whole park.
they do the whole part.
And, oh my goodness,
the Day
you
of the
should-
Dead or the Night of the Dead or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no comparison.
And that's one of the things about both this party and the Christmas party is that you really get the effect on Main Street, the hub. You come in, you see all the scarecrows and all that good stuff, and then when you go in through the rest of the park, it's they got the candy stations. There's a dance party here, or a DJ
projections.
There
there.
might be
Yeah.
a spotlight, a projection
Yeah.
somewhere, but
Yeah, but
you're kind of
they-
looking for it.
Yeah, they did have the new projection back on Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
Yeah, I
that
saw
wasn't there
that.
last year,
That
and
was
that
good.
was a nice addition. And the fact that Country Bears did have the scrim over it, or Pecos Bill, one of the two, and they decided to actually project onto that. That added a lot to the effect.
It's
and
a
then,
new level of scrims, Kathy.
Yeah, I know. How about that?
Then Thunder Mountain
Thunder
had
Mountain
the
had, like,
skull
a
on
skull.
it.
Oh,
That
cool.
was cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
That's nice, but throw me some leaves and some
Yeah, I'd like to see some more tassels.
scarecrow. I want more tangible stuff I can touch and
Yeah.
I don't know.
I said tassels. I meant tinsel.
Tassels.
We don't need tassels.
Special merchandise.
Special merchandise.
I just
Orange
like
and
It
purple.
looked like candy corn.
You can buy it at Mickey's at Hollywood. Yeah, go talk.
I lost it. Don't even know what I was going to say now.
It was coming out, and he's like, "Whoop, I'm done." That's the end of that.
Okay. All right. Let's wrap up by talking about the fireworks, and then we'll talk about our overall opinions of this year's party. So, anything new in the fireworks?
I thought that whole area up there now can hold more people. And
That
it's-
is something different.
And it's easier to see the fireworks.
The good thing about the hub expansion is all of that area is prime fireworks viewing
Yes.
space, and that's one of the main considerations they had. I will tell you, though, even after being in the hub during the fireworks, during the parade, during these shows, in fact, I didn't really leave the hub area the whole night, it held a lot more people, but that made the traffic jam afterwards a million times worse. And they still haven't figured that out. Me and Rhino were trying to rush back from the stage show to our parade viewing area from the castle to Casey's Corner. And all we kept saying was, where are those cast members with the green lightsabers?
Yes.
Right?
We need
Yeah.
them right now. They usually annoy me, but I need them now. They weren't there.
They weren't there.
Yeah, no, there weren't. Didn't seem like there
They
was
weren't
as many
there.
cast members.
That's why I
working.
always, with I'm always more towards up the train station towards the end of the night. I want to be leading out.
Able to get out
Yeah.
I
pretty
want to
quick.
be able to get out quickly before the crowds start rushing.
I will say, having left right after the fireworks, it was super easy at that point to get on a monorail. I think we only had to wait for one monorail,
Yeah.
and we were out. So the crowds, just like on a normal day, slowly trickle out. But Craig, you were saying the fireworks show itself has really not changed at all.
No, it hasn't changed. And I know they do a couple projections on the castle that make it unique, but for the most part, it doesn't matter where you watch this show. Even if you stand back in Fantasyland in one of the approved locations, not directly behind the castle, but anywhere, you
On
can
the roof
get
of the Little Mermaid.
you can get a really decent spot of these fireworks, and you definitely shouldn't miss them. But don't change the parade. Change the fireworks soundtrack
to do what?
up if
What do you
they're
want?
going to do
Just
anything.
the music? You just want the music?
something
too?
fresh.
Yeah, I could use a little bit of fresh music with the fireworks. A little, maybe a little more actual inclusion of the Nightmare Before Christmas, like Disneyland's
Yeah.
fireworks are for Halloween, because it's very.
They've got that big, stupid white dog up
They
there.
got Zero that
Yeah, they
comes
got
out
Zero.
and flies back and forth,
Yeah,
which
I
is
remember him.
awesome.
I've seen
Yeah,
that.
they have him. They have Dumbo, Tinkerbell. They can fly anybody up there. It's pretty cool. We
It
only
is
get-
cool. I've seen it, but why don't we
Yeah,
get
what
that?
about a witch?
because we just have that one little.
Yeah, right.
Let there be a witch that flies.
Let there
up.
be a witch.
That would be cool.
I'm sure there's a witch somewhere that could,
Yeah.
Well, the problem
slap
is
a hat on Tink.
ours would just plummet to the ground because that's what they do in Disney World. Disneyland, they
Theirs
get to go
flies
back
around.
and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, ours
Well, why
just
can't we
plummets.
do that? Is
Because
it
they'd
because
have
our
to-
castle's too big? Ooh,
Well, they'd have to reinstall a whole new wire system, and I guess
Yeah.
that would be difficult.
come on.
Well, they
it's
all
like a clothesline.
yeah, but they also have the Matterhorn there that attaches to
Yeah.
the other side that they had, so it can do that.
And people using your flash doesn't help you take better fireworks pictures.
No,
Just
the,
a better picture of the back of your head.
the best is whenever they record video with the light on during the fireworks, and they just hold it, and you're just seeing it out. Especially if you wear glasses, because it's just bouncing right
Yeah.
back.
Okay.
They're awful.
I told Rhino this story that night, and I still don't understand it. We saw a lot of weird things, but I was coming back from Adventureland to Main Street during the fireworks, and I walked past Crystal Palace, and for whatever reason, I don't know, there was a girl who was holding up her phone, filming the fireworks, and I was like, you know what? And because it was vertical, I said, I wonder how that would look. So I turned around to look in her screen, and she actually had the self-facing camera, and she was filming a close-up of her eyeball with the reflection of the fireworks in her eye. The creepiest thing I've ever seen.
Now that's
ever.
different.
I didn't expect that. It
Do you
freaked
think
me
she
out.
meant to do that?
I don't know, but to see somebody looking at the fireworks and having it pointing back at them, it was disturbing. I've seen a lot of stuff, but I've never seen that.
Now that's a new
Wow.
one.
That was wild. Okay, so final impressions of this year's party, kind of compared to what we've seen in the past, and I don't know that we really need to go into the do you recommend it for people, because I think we can all recommend that if you want to do the Halloween party, it's going to be a fun time. But let's just kind of compare how we feel, past years, what's improved, what's not.
I mean, I think the crowd level was definitely, it was noticeable this year. This was the first year that I kind of walked around feeling helpless because of my wrist. So, usually I'm experiencing this party through my camera. And so this was the first year I just kind of walked around. And
Walk around looking for girls. Can you hold my drink for me? Can you-
I like to make my judgment when I go with the kids. And once we
Yeah.
go and we kind of go dressed up and participate, not work. But I love the party. I think it's a great party.
I think that with the addition of the new stage show, that's enough in my book to say go check it out
Oh.
again. If you've done it once and you're not sure if you want to do it again, that's something that really stands out as a new addition, and I think it's a really good show, and it's worth going to see that. I
I
really
agree,
do.
Dustin. That would be the reason to go. I love, and I go every year. I go to the Halloween party for work and with the kids. But like you said, the stage show cinches it. You got it. Even if you've done it in the past, you have to go see that.
And that's really rare to say about anything that's happening in the Magic Kingdom, to say that the stage show is the draw.
Right.
Because usually it's like that's a stage show.
But it is. And see the movie before you go. to get
Yeah.
excited about it,
And so
then,
you can sing along next to Kathy.
That's right. It's so worth it.
What'd you think, Steve?
I mean, overall, this was my first party, like I said, and there was a buzz. There's a buzz in the park that there's not in normal park hours. And so, as critical as I can be with the parade and not liking that, like, there's something in the air about it, like the projections on everything, and you look everywhere, and there's things you've never seen before. I really like that. So I would recommend it. I like it.
It has a similar energy to like when they do the special villains nights or the 24-hour events, that it's a special night and there is an energy in the air. How about you, Kathy?
Well, seeing as how I've been however many times, I think I'm glad they added the stage show. I think they need to change up a few other things. So in my mind, I'd give it like a C+. But if this is your first time going, you're going to have a great time. But
No. Junior over here didn't care
No,
for it.
I had a great time, but I just didn't like the parade.
Okay. That just breaks my heart.
But I did an article where I graded it. I gave it an
didn't like the
A-.
grade,
I gave
did
the
you?
whole thing an A-.
Okay.
So I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you, Junior.
I do want to let people know the prices. For a ticket like this, we talked about the whole party. So the prices range for an adult anywhere from $63 and go as high as $74.
I think weekends are more expensive.
Yeah, so
than
you have to
weekdays.
look. We have the whole price chart with the dates and the prices. You get advanced purchase discounts and also DVC member, annual pass holder.
I've got all that in the show notes page,
Okay.
the link to
So,
all the information.
Check it out.
Yeah. Okay, finally, Craig, what do you think? What's the deal?
He likes the Christmas party better.
I go back and forth. I say I like the Halloween party better until the Christmas party rolls around, and then I say I like the Christmas party better. I think it's always worth it. The year that I don't go will be the year that I'm actually upset about it.
Yeah.
This year is definitely the first year as a repeat visitor that it's been worth it to go back, worth the price of admission, worth everything. However, just be prepared to deal with the madness of the crowds, because the more and more that people get hyped up for this Hocus Pocus show, the more those dates are going to start
Especially
selling out.
towards the end. And those people that are going to the last shows are also going to the first Christmas parties. I've got a lot of clients that are doing that. They're
If they're
booking their
that close together?
Yes, they're
Yeah.
booking it where they can do the Halloween party, and then at the end of their trip, they're doing the Christmas
That's
party.
nuts.
That's crazy. I couldn't do it. It would be too confusing.
I can't
me.
believe Disney does that.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
That they
do
back
it.
that up that close
Yeah.
within like 2 weeks, probably. That's,
Well, within a
week,
within a
usually.
week. Yeah.
yeah, my mamma mia.
Yeah, you lose it, and then here comes because the Halloween party goes after the 31st, right? Doesn't-
November 1st.
November 1st,
Yeah.
okay. And then Christmas starts the next week. Ho, ho, ho.
All righty. Well, guys, I think that's going to do it for this episode talking about the Halloween party. As you guys know, this is my last show, and I've kind of already said everything that I wanted to say in the previous news show, so you can go check that out. But
Hang on, I never got to say goodbye.
Well,
I
you can
wasn't
say
here.
goodbye to me.
Okay, goodbye. I'm
Goodbye.
gonna miss you.
I love you.
I love you.
Okay.
Gonna make me cry.
But I just want to reiterate, this has just been so much fun, and I'm so glad to know you guys and to now know the listeners and the viewers. So
We're going to miss you.
Thank you, and I will see you next week on a pre-recorded episode of The Trip, and then after that, I'm done. So that is going to do it for this episode of the Diz Unplugged. We hope you enjoyed it, and I don't have a catchphrase, so adios,
Ta-da.
Jumbo.
Jump.